Hey guys. So, as I'm sure some of y'all probably heard by now, there was another Antifa protest or Antifa retaliation, as they might call it, or even just an Antifa demonstration of power. Well, it happened against the Proud Boys, which for some of those who may not know, the Proud Boys is, well, Antifa would call them fascists. You know, they would call them alt-righters and stuff like that, where the Proud Boys, though they are a little bit extreme, in my opinion, I do understand where they're coming from. You know, they're just basic people who was just like, we're tired of being forgotten, we're tired of the government bending us over. You know, we want our freedoms, we want our guns, we want our speech, we want our religion, all that fun stuff. And, you know, lately they have been gotten more militant, I will say. But the thing is, so is Antifa. Antifa has been militant for a while now. Now, are they arming themselves with guns? Not yet, but they have been arming themselves with weapons, and you can just go online and see many different examples of just Antifa going around just beating the crap out of people for just no reason whatsoever. Now, why is this happening? Well, as I've said in other videos, the left can radicalize too. You see, they always want to talk about how everything is always the right's fault, you know? It's Donald Trump's fault, it's them damn conservatives, it's them Nazis. But the thing is, it's not. You know, the left can radicalize too, and Antifa is proof of that. And plus, you know, Antifa has also claimed strikes on ICE buildings. They've also, well, it's been speculated that an Antifa person is the one that shot at the ICE building that almost killed a federal agent. You know, it's not like I haven't been up against terrorist organizations myself during my time in the service, but it almost seems like if you have a group that is specifically targeting your government and specifically targeting, you know, branches or facilities of your government that they don't agree with, kind of sounds like terrorism to me. You know, terrorism just isn't foreign, folks. It's also domestic. And yes, we can have domestic terrorism. Yes, it is possible. And yes, it is a thing. You know, we have, well, personally, I do view Antifa as a domestic terrorist group. But also, I view the people in the KKK and those who are actual white supremacists who actually do want to go out and cause harm. Those people are terrorists in my group. Now, here's the issue, though. So, Antifa, they keep lowering the bar. As I've said before in many videos, they're gonna keep lowering the bar on what is they don't like. Like, Antifa keeps lowering the bar on what's fascist. So does the left. They keep lowering the bar on what's considered Nazism. And if you want to own your gun, if you want to secure your home, and I'm not talking just the border, I'm talking like your personal home, and if you want the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you're a Nazi now. By these new standards that the left has created, is you're a Nazi if you don't agree with us. It's becoming that type of thought mentality, where it's just, you know, the NPC meme is glorious there, you know. What is it? I think I saw one where it's like, diversity is our strength, now assimilate with us and consume all of our thoughts and think the same. It was based like the Borg from Star Trek. Good memes, by the way. But the sad part is, though, it's true. In fact, there was an interview with CNN where they were interviewing these people, and, you know, they were the mask and everything. They asked them, you know, it's like, well, hey, people usually view people coming up in masks as they're here to cause harm. Why are you wearing masks? And they said, oh, it's because we don't want the Proud Boys to recognize us and basically cause us harm in our daily lives. Well, yeah, I can understand that. But at the same time, y'all got to think about how many conservatives that Antifa has targeted. And he has not just went after their business platforms, but has been at their homes, been at them personally, affected their personal life, online, offline. I mean, they have targeted people, but yet they'll sit there and cover themselves like, ha ha ha, this is for our protection, but they'll do the exact same thing and target people that basically they do upon others what they don't want done on themselves. And they constantly go back and say, we're the anti-fascists, we got to stop the fascism. But as I said, they keep lowering the bar on what's considered fascist, what's considered Nazism, and it's going to get them in trouble. I mean, I don't approve, nor do I support Antifa, mainly because if you look at the rise of Hitler, his party that became the fascists, when they were being formed, they were considered the anti-fascists, and they did exactly, or what Antifa is doing, what Hitler did back in the day, is they're crushing their opponents by, Antifa says, any means necessary, including violence. And they kept lowering the bar and flipping the monopoly board so many times. It's just, what's the rules? What's the standards? They basically made it to where if you didn't fall in line, you were our enemy. You are the fascist. You are the problem. But of course, as we know, when Hitler's rise to power was complete, well, as Obi-Wan said, you became the very thing you swore to destroy. And honestly, history does have a very funny way of repeating itself. And I have a feeling that's what's going to happen with Antifa. If they go unchecked, and if the left-wing side, and including some of the right-wing, it's not just the left, it's the majority of the left-wing, but there are some on the right that support them as well. But if they keep going unchecked, who's to say that Antifa won't become the next, fifth rank? Who's to say Antifa won't become the next Nazis? And a lot of you might be going, well, that's silly. People would never allow it. Of course. There are tons of Americans, tons of just loyal, patriotic, nation-loving, God-fearing Americans that would rather fight than have their country actually become true Nazism, true fascist government. And honestly, the left and Antifa recognizes this. That's why they're trying and pushing so hard to basically shut conservative voices up. We see it all the time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I mean, God, what was that guy's name? With Vox? I mean, he went on a crusade. Do y'all remember that? That mother went on a crusade and tried to silence not just Louder with Crowder, but just every form of talking shows like mine that he didn't agree with. And he tried to get rid of them all. But the thing is, well, luckily now that fell flat on his face, and honestly, he got what was coming to him. I try not to cast bad juju on people, but someone like that, who intentionally was trying to cause a lot of harm to good, honest folk, well, yeah, he got what he deserved. But the thing is, these are just examples of what the government and organizations like Antifa, because it's not just Antifa, there's other organizations, what they're trying to do. They're trying to silence right-wingers by all means necessary, in hopes that, as their rise to power continues, that all the right-wing people will sit down, shut up, and stay in line. And we know what's best for you. We know how to rule your life. We know what's better for you, not you. Also, I mean, I hear what the Democrats are saying. A lot of us do. And honestly, at this point, when you see what groups like Antifa is doing, you see what the Democrat Party is running off of, I just don't understand how any American-loving citizen can sit there and go, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I just don't understand it. Now, I also understand that there is a large group of people around my generation that basically, I don't want to necessarily say brainwashed, but they have been conditioned to think a certain way. They have been conditioned to believe that nationalism is evil. And some people have even been so far conditioned that white people are evil and white people are the problem of everything on earth. And this is the thought process of these groups at Antifa. You know, we have to destroy America because nationalism is bad. America had slaves. We can't have nations that have slaves. Even though there's still some African and Middle Eastern countries that still practice slavery. Like, it is legal. I don't hear anyone protesting that. They also, and some groups go as far as to say, you know, it's like, oh, them crazy Christians, we gotta get rid of them. Your spaghetti God doesn't exist. There is no God. Well, they don't say the same thing to Muslims, though, and they believe in Allah. But, you know, maybe it's that whole situation, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, yes, I understand it's been said before. Yes, I understand other YouTube channels have came out and said this. But, you know, you can't be the sheep. You know, you gotta look at this from the eyes of the attacker, you know, the eyes of the aggressor. And the way I'm seeing this is Antifa is they are willing to fight for their beliefs. Like, they basically, it's an ideology for them. You know, their ideology is we have to shut everyone that doesn't agree with us up because they are a threat to the peace. Like, almost kind of like Far Cry 5. You know, I haven't played the game, but I know the storyline. But, you know, in Far Cry 5, you had that church, the father, you know, he convinced all those people in the church that he was right, and we had to do what's right by any means necessary, including violence. That's kind of what Antifa is doing. They believe that they are truly stopping fascism, that they are, you know, preventing fascism, and that they are saving the world by doing what they're doing. But unfortunately, if they take a hard look in the mirror, they are the fascists. Will they come around? Honestly, I don't know. They've been around since Donald Trump, and if the God Emperor doesn't win the next election, Antifa will either... Two things are going to happen. And this is just my theory. I got to state that. It's my theory, but if the God Emperor doesn't win the next election, it's either one, Antifa will dissolve. Like, for them, it will be, you know, this is our victory, we got the fascists out, we have control of the House, the Senate, I mean, we can start getting stuff done, victory for us. Or they'll really ramp up their rhetoric, and they'll just go balls to the wall, and we'll see a lot more, I'm going to say, damage coming from them. And right now, the Democrats they just don't want to call them out. Mainly because they're free soldiers. You know, they are free soldiers for the Democratic Party. The soldiers that they can go out and do all the dirty work, and the Democrats sit there and go, oh, hey, this isn't us. Hey, good job, by the way, here's some funds. You know, mercenaries for hire, basically. Now, I said, that is just a theory. But judging on how certain other events in history have gone, and judging how Antifa and the left has been in recent years, I can see it. I can absolutely see it. Especially if they pass their anti-gun rhetoric, and if they get the red flags going on to where the citizens, you know, you'll just get disarmed. No due process, no nothing. Your rights are immediately taken away. Just imagine how much power the government will have, and how much power groups of Antifa will be given. That's my thoughts on Antifa, folks. I honestly think that they gotta be stopped. Otherwise, it'll be the whole case, you give a mouse a cookie, don't want a glass of milk. Guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. I'll see y'all later.